Okay, everybody, here I'm back. I've now completed the movement phases for both sides, and next up would be the attrition phase. Now, this attrition phase only kicks in if you are out of supply at the end of the previous game turn, because what happens is if a unit is out of supply at the end of the previous game turn, seeing as this is the first game turn, there is no such thing, you would then suffer attrition in this phase. So seeing as there is none, the next phase is the big phase, and that's the operation phase. In this phase, you can move, fight, build trenches, etc. So the way this works is, and this is going to be interesting because I'm going to play this live, I'm probably going to make huge mistakes. So the way this works is both, and I have to look at the actual scenario chart because there is something special about this. There are no reinforcements. Instead of the normal allocation of SD and replacement points, the players will receive the following. The VM receives 2 replacement points and any points received through option E and F in rule 2.2, which is, rule 2.2 is, let's see, okay, so, oh, that's too bad. VM receives, VM receives at the end of VM movement phase 1 SD in any hex with a road that can trace back to Tai Nguyen. So we're going to do this because the movement phase is now over. So, now I need to find a supply dump. Which I will place in any hex with a road that can trace back to Tai Nguyen. So Tai Nguyen is here. Any hex that can trace itself back to Tai Nguyen, so this would be here, for example. Can trace its back straight to this, which is quite good because then these guys are all in supply. So basically we're going to leave this one here. They can mobilize each two tier 1 each game turn. That doesn't work. FEF receives 1 SD in Hanoi, which I think I should have probably done at the very beginning, but I didn't do it, so I'm going to do it now. Let's yeah, it should actually say here on the card when this happens, not just, that it happens. This would really help. So I'm going to put this here, up here. Okay, so now what we need to do is we get 10 points, but before we can spend any, both players decide whether or not to spend an SD. So VM decides first. If VM decides not to spend any SD, then you may remove any VM SD on the map instead and place it in the hex where the VM HQ is. Now, spending actually means that you can do operations. If you if no one I think if no one decides to spend, then nothing happens. Oh yes, you can still do something. You can either remove up to 3G, you can exchange 1 SD for 3 trench markers, you can move some or all units in a hex, or you can destroy a road. As the VM player, as the French, you can also barrage 1 hex with airstrike and or navy. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to, well, what am I going to do? Because if I don't spend, then this one will be placed here. So, but there's one here already. There are two there already, okay. So that doesn't help. So I will spend one. I'm going to spend this one here. So what this means is now I make a decision to spend, and I'm also going to make a decision to spend one here. No, actually I'm going to spend this one here. Okay. So it means both parties have decided to spend, so it means we have the ability to do A to G. So now what we need to do is we get 10 points. But now we need to roll a die. And so I'm going to roll for the French, 1. And for the Viet Minh, 3. So what this means is both players receive 10 points. The VM player rolls a die and divides the result by 2, rounded up. This is the amount of operation points that may be spent in a row. You must spend at least 1 point. Move the VMOP marker on the Viet Minh operation points track from 10 towards 1. So yeah. They can spend 10 because that's 3 divided by 2 rounded up. And I get to do 1 for the French in one go. So now the Viet Minh can do 2 things, can spend 2 operation points in one go. We can remove up to 3 DG and or destroyed road markers. We don't want this, actually. This road we destroyed ourselves, and we also don't have any 1 DG, so that's fine. We can exchange 1 supply dump for 3 trench markers. So what I could do is I could say I want all of these to be entrenched, which would help because first of all, being in supply when you're entrenched is much easier. And also I think it helps in okay. Place them on up to 3 hexes with friendly units. All units in a hex with a trench are entrenched. You can't place or keep a trench in a hex which is unoccupied. Choose one option below. FEF places up to 3 white trenches on FEF units. Okay, no, we're Viet Minh. Viet Minh places up to 3 black trenches on Viet Minh units in hexes within 3 hexes of any VM supply center if the SD is in the VM supply center. Hexes within 3 hexes of the removed SD. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to remove this one. And we're going to put 3 black trenches here. And we're going to entrench all these units. So that's 1 point spent. So now we have 1 left. And we can attack 1 single hex with troops which are all within 3 hexes of the SD being spent. Well, we can't do that because the D being spent is here, and we cannot attack anyone around here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to move some or all units in a hex. That's also something that does not really help us at all, because we don't really want to move. But what we can do is we can attack. We could attack this stack, I suppose, but our stack isn't really very powerful, so we'd better not do this. We could move. And we're going to move this into here. Okay, so that's that. So now it's the French player. I have one action point, and I'm going to attack this stack here, which is within 3, and with this stack here, which is within 3 hexes of this spending SD. So again, we choose which one we're going to have as the lead. I'm going to choose this one because of the morale level 3. So there is no morale difference over here. So we're going to declare that we're going to attack them. They can now retreat if they were of the right denomination. They're not. They can also not ambush us, so we have chosen the leading unit. There is no declaration of Bolshevik spirit because we're not Bolsheviks. I roll 2 dice. That's a 9. So I'm going to make a note of this. Where's my pen? Oh boy, has the cat swallowed the pen again? It's weird. Ah, here we go. So we've got a 9 as the die roll result. There is no rain. The terrain, if I remember correctly, that's not going to be that big an issue. Yeah, no combat modifier for this one. So yeah, that's also not the case. Good. So we have 2, 4, 8, 10. 10 versus 10, that's a 1-to-1. And with a die roll result of 9, that's X. It means exchange. Now the defender can retreat or stand fast. If the defender decides to retreat, they take 1 step loss less than they would if they stayed in place. Now let's see. The result would be X, and X is... God, I mean, the rules are not really... Both players lose 1 step each. So if this group were to remove themselves, to retreat, they would only they would suffer no no step loss. Is that right? But if they decide to stand fast, and none of the participating units are disorganized later, they will actually take 2 step losses. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take any risks. I'm actually going to move back, and these guys are going to move in here. And now we're going to roll for disorganization. They roll a 1. And they and the GG would be 4 plus, so they're not DG, and they roll a 6, and their DG would be a 4 as well, so they are actually disorganized. So everybody in here is disorganized now. So you don't have a zone of control anymore. Okay. Okay, so they've now spent their operation points. So they have 9 left, and they have 8 left. Okay, now what are the Viet Minh going to do? The Viet Minh are going to well, they can't really do very much. They can attack one single hex with troops, which all are within no. Well, actually, this is quite difficult because they can't really do anything that is worth doing, because anything that can happen can only happen in a 3 hex diameter from here, and we're not going to attack these guys because they are really, really strong. So what we're going to be doing is, well, there isn't any. I mean, I wonder. Am I playing this right? Because this is really strange. You can't do anything really. I mean, I guess I can move these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are in forest, so it's like 3. 3, 5, 7, 9 down here along the river. Okay, and now it's us again, the French. So what they're going to do is they're going to airdrop this supply dump onto these guys. Now I have to check how this works. 6, 4, no, air transport, page 9. Oh. Okay, we can't do this after all, because you can only drop supply units, supply dumps on places where there are no there's no forest or mountain. So I could put one here, but they are in supply anyway, which is bad. Very, very, very bad. Bad planning on my part. But I can keep these guys supplied. So I'm just going to put this here. So how this works is actually you take your air transport and you make them dump something. You don't make them land, so you could do this even if there was no airstrip, you just dump something. If you airdrop on or within a zone of control of the Viet Minh anti-aircraft unit, then as an exception you need to deduct 2 air transports, otherwise you just have 1. So that's fine. And for good measure I'm also gonna send in 2 troops, because you can send a stack of 3, so I'm just going to put in some troops here as well. So they have now been moved and they are in supply. So these guys will be out of supply, so that's going to be interesting. Well, I mean, we have to learn how this works anyway. So this means that they have now got 8 left. So now the Viet Minh could do something, but there isn't really anything they can do or anything that's worth it. They could destroy a road. It can be any VM occupied hex in the Highlands. Yeah, well, or it can be, well, I mean, yeah, there isn't anything that's of any interest, so I'm not going to destroy anything there. Okay, so basically now I'm going to use my point to remove the DG. And I think that's the end now of this phase, because there isn't really much that I could do that makes any sense. What I could do is I could attack the HQ. But that's going to be... Okay. Now I get this. So I'm going to airlift a couple of troops, 3 to be exact, over here. Let's see, I must not overstack those. So we have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, so I can airlift 2 more in here. 13. Okay, so I've done that now. They have let's see if we have any air. No, we don't. Okay, so now I've done this. So I'm just wondering if I could entrench these guys as well. Hexes within 3 hexes of any VM supply center if the SD is in a VM supply center. The SD doesn't have to be within 3 hexes. Oh, okay. What I can do is I can entrench these guys. Entrenched. 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 And why can I do this? Because if the spending, or is it? Actually, is it in a supply center? It doesn't have to be within hexes within 3 hexes of any VM supply center if the SD is in a no. Doesn't have to be within 3 okay. Okay, that doesn't work. But what I can do is I can remove this one, and I'm going to entrench these guys. Okay, so now they're entrenched. So let's see what happens. So now I'm going to attack this group here, and we'll see what happens if you attack somebody who's entrenched. So, do trenches have any result? 11, 15. No, they don't seem to influence combat at all, so we'll see. We're going to choose the most important morale person. They're all morale 3. So that's 3, 6, 9. Okay, that doesn't make any difference. We're going to do this. 3. They have morale 5, so we're going to take this one as the leader. So we have a morale value of +2 for the attacker. Already established it's not the rainy season. We're going to die roll. Oh, 4, 5, that's not good. DR, morale. The terrain is major river. So -2. Now let's calculate the strength difference. We have 6, 12, 18, 24 versus 9, 18, 24, 30, 33. That's 1-to-1. Now they can make a decision if they want to withdraw. And they're not going to withdraw. So it's a 5 on a 1-to-1. That is XL, and this is both players lose 1 step, and then the attacker loses 1 additional step. So so we're gonna flip this one over, so he's losing 2 steps, and they lose 1 step. And now we have to roll for, remove this and this, and now we can roll for disorganization. 3 for the defender. Yes, so that's fine. Let me see. dg is equal to or higher than your number. Okay, so they're all dg, and oh no, sorry, for the defender it's 5 and for the attacker it's 3. Yeah, the attacker is dg. So I still have 1 point, so I'm going to remove this. Yeah, and I think I'm going to put this up now because oh yeah, they're entrenched. Yeah, because they could attack this one here, I suppose. Yeah, so basically I still have 1 point left, so I'm going to attack them. Plus 2 morale. Ten die roll. No combat modifier because it's road and clear. Road and non-clear, so that's 0. They're not gonna. It's 4. It's 8. 3. 5, 8, 11, 14, 14, 32. 32 versus 8. 4 to 1. On a 12. That's 2DL, so this one takes 2 step losses. Okay. Does artillery take step losses? Yeah, it does. So, okay, now we're gonna roll for disorganization. 2. They are disorganized and they are not disorganized, so basically now they can make a decision to retreat after combat. If the defender stands fast and does not retreat, then the defender will take the full combat result and lose an extra step. If none of the participating attacking units are DG and some of or okay. So basically he's gonna move away. Because if he had stayed, then he would have lost an extra step per stack, because none of the attacking units are GG and some or all of the defending units are GG, and the defender has lost at least 1 step in this combat. So otherwise this guy would have lost 3 steps. So we're not going to do this, and these guys are going to advance here. So yeah, DNA, okay. Well, I mean, this goes up. As you can see, this game is not easy. But I think, well, I would point out that I'm showing you how I'm teaching myself this game. If it looks clunky to you, it's not because the mechanics is clunky. It's clunky because I am learning how to play this game. I actually think the mechanics make perfect sense in what they're trying to do, but of course you have to learn them. So if you now get the impression that this game is boring because you have to do quite a lot of stuff and, you know, moving stuff around, and it seems like this is not really going anywhere, that's not true. It is going somewhere, but it takes time for me to learn this, and also to become a little more understanding of strategy. So for example, the fact that you could in the operations phase attack is great. It becomes less great when you realize, and this is something that I read the rules twice, but you really only realize what it means when you play it. So I wanted to attack, you know, I wanted to attack this stack with this stack. Unfortunately, I can't because the troops that attack this need to be within 3 hexes of the spending supply dump, which they are not, because the supply dump that I was spending is up here. So, not good, not good. Something you have to learn, something you have to bear in mind. But of course there were no supply dumps down here, so there was no way these guys would ever have been able to use this. So, yeah, this is something that we have to work on. Okay, so thanks very much. This goes up. Obviously there are at least 2 more turns that I need to play, and I think the next one will be much easier. Of course, the turn isn't over yet. The next phase is the supply check phase, and I already know that I'll be out of supply in very many areas, so that's going to be interesting. Okay, well, this goes up, and have a nice day. Bye.